This is a sensitive topic out there. Every buyer believes every seller is greedy. But at the end of this video, you'll come to know why they ain't so bad. My name is Yemi. This is The Right Property, where I bring you information you need before deals. I work in the GTA, and if you like my videos, get in touch with me. Let's see, maybe we can work together. All right? So, sellers, let's start from when they buy. Every buyer out there falls in love with a house, even if it's for investment purposes. They love the house because of what the house is going to bring them. As a family, it brings you comfort, gives you shelter, safety. It's where everybody grows up in. A lot of memories made in houses, lots of memories. So at the point of selling, it's almost like they're letting go of a baby. If you look at it that way, sometimes you understand why they're asking for so much. Because it's almost like they're passing something of value more than what you see to you as a buyer. So imagine they've experienced all that feeling that you are coming to experience, but now they have to let it go. But what you don't always know is that the reason behind selling, most of the time we're not allowed to tell you. As agents, we hold a duty to our clients, the sellers or buyers, but in this case, we're talking about sellers. We hold a duty of keeping their privacy, keeping their information, secret. They tell us why they want to sell, but we can't tell you, except the seller actually tells us we can tell you. And I can give you a tiny clue right now. Most sellers are selling for negative reasons. We're talking about death in the family. We're talking about divorce. We're talking about downsizing because they got too old. We're talking about mostly things that is forcing them, even foreclosure. All these things are forcing the seller to sell. So at the point of selling, they want to get the most money possible in the hope that they don't even find a buyer. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the negativity is going on in their lives. They want to make sure, someone taking this out of my hands. Remember, I said it's something of value. They've attached so much to it, family and all that stuff, right? So they want you to appreciate what you're buying. They want you to love it just as much as they do. And that's why when people buy sometimes, they write letters, they introduce themselves. The sellers actually drop the price sometimes. Well, those letters work. And that's to tell you it's not really the money they're after. They're actually after the house and passing it on to someone that's going to love it as much as they do. I actually bought my house that way. We had a letter of introduction with a family picture, picture of the family, and we gave it to the seller with our first offer. She rejected everything, right? And then when we came, at this point there was no multiple offers. We came back with a lower, check this out, with a lower price for the same house. And she said yes. Because later on we found out from the neighbor that she was very unhappy when she first said no after reading our letter. And this is why I know it's not all about price. So when you're looking at prices and you think, oh, this person is greedy, you don't know the inside of what's going on. And if those letters can make sellers change their minds, it should let you know it's not all about money for sellers. Okay? the many negative reasons why sellers sell. But when I became an agent, I actually learned a valuable lesson, very, very serious one, that made me conclude like, you know what? Do not see sellers like they're greedy. Okay, so a guy invited me over to his house. Big acres of land behind his house. House was very small, and he said he wanted this much. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, let me tell you the numbers. He wanted like 1.2. But after doing my, numbers, running my numbers and doing my research and all that stuff, uh, I let him know like the house is not what 900,000. And of course, it shooed me away like, no, no, no. And then the house came on the market by another agent, okay, asking 1.2. And it lasted over 6 months, thereabout. And then driving by, he had switched the agents. Okay, so the first agent, which would have been me, could not sell it at that price, you know. And I was telling myself like, okay, so I made the right call. And then the second agent took it over. That was also going like late into 6 months thereabout. And guess what? The bubble happened, and the seller got 1.2. Yeah. So it's not about sellers being greedy. It's also sometimes about the market. The market can flip on its head and everything goes crazy, and buyers are just like throwing money all over the places, and the seller can get it. So from that experience, I decided whatever the seller wants, of course, I'm going to tell them uh, my range is from here to here, you know. However, we're going to do it your way, maybe for the first 4 months, and then we're going to do it my way. Hopefully, the house is not still on the market, because most times when you ask for too much, other sellers come around and they ask for a little lower than what you're asking for. And when buyers come, theirs look like deals compared to yours. So be careful when you ask for too much. But really, there are a lot of things that push sellers to do that. And sometimes, even after sellers sell, they have seller's remorse. So that means no matter how much money you've given them, they still feel bad for selling. They still regret selling. Can you imagine that? So when you're thinking they're greedy and it's all about the money, I want you to understand there are many factors going on behind the scene that we agents cannot really tell you. Another thing is, say you want to buy a house and your agent goes into the system and the house is less than 5 years ago they bought it. That's usually a distress sell. Like maybe it's a divorce, or maybe it's a foreclosure coming, or maybe they got in trouble financially. So, like I said, when sellers are selling, there's a whole lot of negative uh, reasons why they're selling that we can't tell you. So, don't just look at what they're asking for. Ask yourself, from whatever you see while you're doing your research. And that's one of the other good things what why sellers asking for too much make you do. They make you do your research. And while you're doing those research, you can come up with very good reasons why you think they're selling. And once you find this out, this is like finding out the black swan, you know, in a deal. Once you can find that out, it can help you better in negotiating for a better price than what the seller's asking for. So you can't really blame sellers. There's always shortage of houses. The government and the builders and the bankers, they're not lenders, okay, government builders, lenders, they're not actually letting builders build houses. So there's always a shortage of houses compared to the population. And when you roll all this up, you're gonna see that sellers are not that greedy. All right. So as buyers, let's put more legwork, more more time to find out more about a house before we decide or we conclude that the seller is just greedy. All right. And hope you end up with better deals from here on. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. If you like what I'm doing, if you appreciate, as I'm bringing this insights to you and you appreciate what I'm doing, please subscribe. All right. And hope you get better deals out there. Like I said, if you want to work with me, I cover the GTA. And all I want to do is see you at the top. Take care.